it's weird. It sounds strange to go at this way instead of saying, "Hey, we're a professional festival and we're out to, give awards of, I even make my own awards because that's important to me too. That was the first thing I wanted to do. Was I might have one actually here.
I've got a few.
Jason has some.
I was waiting for my moment. Here
No.
I think that one was best local short. This one was for Reclaimers for VFX. But yeah, I just love it's like the handmade, like it's so cool.
Nice.
There's no way to make me look humble in this, Josh. I'm sorry. Hey, everybody. What's up? I'm Jason Sheedy.
I'm Joshua David Matthews.
And I'm Kyle Steinecke.
And we are Heebie-Jeebies Pictures, and you're listening to Deep Dark Well, where we do a deep, dark dive into all things filmmaking, most likely horror filmmaking. Anyway, we had the very cool opportunity last week to have our short film, To Hell With You, play before Evil Dead 2 at the Plaza Theater here in Atlanta. That was an event as part of an anniversary celebration that was put on by the Atlanta Horror Society,
where Jason Sheedy was awarded Filmmaker of the Year,
along with Heebie-Jeebies Pictures.
And our guest today is actually the president of the Atlanta Horror Society, in addition to also being the festival director for Atlanta's horror festival, Buried Alive Film Festival. So today on the show, we want to welcome Shannon Thompson.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I love that shirt you're wearing.
We had a bit of a debate of who was going to wear the shirt, and he said that I wore it on another podcast, so I'm not allowed to wear it.
But I also like that Feed the People, love
Feed
that
the
shirt too. Yeah, Feed the People.
Kyle, your shirt.
Kyle, your shirt's fine.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah,
Happy Pride Month.
Fine.
Yes, it's amazing to actually get to chat more, because I think in the times that we get to see each other at festivals or whatever events or anything, like, you're such a busy person too. It's rare that we actually get the chance to like sit down like this and be like, so what's going on? It's usually a quick hug and like, oh, it's great to see you. Thanks for everything. So yeah, we thought this would be a fun opportunity to kind of like learn a bit more about you as a filmmaker and your journey and how sort of all these really cool things within the Atlanta community came to be, and just the different ways that you've helped celebrate horror with everyone. So I don't know, to kick things right off, I'd love to know like how you even sort of got into filmmaking, into horror in general. And you can take us all the way back if you want, or just some point in your life where you felt like it kind of clicked for you.
Well, I always wanted to be a filmmaker for as long as I could remember. I used to go to, my father was trying to bond with me. He was my stepfather. He was trying to bond with me. You know how that stepchild father relationships got to go. So he thought the best way he didn't have to talk to me was taking me to the movies. So, but the cool part about it though was we'd be in the car and we'd be talking about like, how did they do that? And the lighting was good, or did I like the story? And we break films down, and it wasn't on purpose. It just became this love of finding out how to build art and how to make art. And I got real excited about it. Started to watch horror and loved that. I don't know, horror is just a lot more fun to me. You get to deep dive into the prosthetics and the amount of power that you can get by controlling fear.
What's the first horror movie that you watched where you're like, this is the movie this is why I'm going to be in horror now?
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's two of them that is influential in my life. So the very first horror film I ever saw was Something Wicked This Way Comes. It was a Disney film that scared the bejesus out of me. And I loved it. I loved it, like when Jonathan Pryce is like, he's got these drawings on his hands and he's like these kids, and then he squeezes his hand and the blood drips down into the grates. That was a moment. To this day, I get chills talking about it. I don't know why. That one was just a really good horror film. The second one that made me realize I really wanted to be in horror and make horror movies was Poltergeist. And Jaws. But Poltergeist was probably that one that scared the crap out of me and actually gave me chlorophobia from the clown under the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Same. Yeah, right.
Poltergeist was a big one for me, too, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then that part where he's tearing up his face, spoilers, but...
in a PG film, no less.
Yeah. That terrified me with Poltergeist. The whole the storytelling aspect of it really drew me in. But with Jaws, what's strange is it wasn't really the story or this mechanical shark that scared me that I loved about it. It was that one vertigo shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one vertigo shot. I don't know why, but I love that shot. To this day, actually, if you go to the museum in Los Angeles, I think, you can actually sit in a chair and they'll do that vertigo shot for you.
That's awesome. I'd know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's so memorable, I guess, that that's also what made me want to be a filmmaker.
If anyone knows Jaws, they know that shot. Like, have you ever tried that with your own filmmaking?
I have tried it 4 times. The
Okay.
4th time I was successful. I did it on a Buried Alive film, actually.
Okay.
I've not always been the festival director for Buried Alive. So right after COVID, I decided I want to jump back into filmmaking. I love Buried Alive at the time. I've been in Buried Alive, and I love the guys that started it, which was Blake Myers and Lucas Godfrey, who now works with Greg Nicotero and The Walking Dead and stuff. So I did a 13-day cinema challenge, and we did this film called The Hangover, and the subject card, and well, for your audience, the 13-day cinema challenge is you have to pick out of a hat a genre and a card against humanity, and you have 13 days to make a horror film about those subjects. So mine was, at the time, was vampires and romance, and we threw back romance, and then we pulled a card against humanity, and we got waking up half naked in a Denny's parking lot. So we just went from there. That told our story. We didn't even really technically have to write much, but the story was written by Vanessa Wright, and I directed, and we won Audience Choice and Cinema Challenge overall. So
I say you cleaned up, because that's where I guess we would have met, like, for the first time. And we've talked about this in person, but I love what you had to say about like teamwork, because you were very like flattering with your team and just the collaboration it took to make that possible. And it's a Hangover is such a fun movie too. Like, I love that. You know, it's funny though. I don't think I knew. Now it makes way more, you know, just in terms of like the setting and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, like the card against humanity thing.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube, so I don't mind telling people how it ends and stuff. But, you know, waking up half naked, we started this story, and it's always really important. I love a story that can begin and end in the same place. That I love that. Oh my God. So when we wrote The Hangover, or we did The Hangover together, we knew she had to start. We did the hangover experience, you know. She had to figure out what was happening to her, and when she finally realizes what's happening, you kind of put the pieces together that she has become a vampire thanks to her roommate, who is also my husband, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. We find out that he's the one that turned her into a vampire, and I wanted him to get ready for work, and he's putting on his Denny's hat, and his little name tag says Vlad on it. And so it was just a fun, and there's also this tooth that starts out in the very beginning, and she puts it down on the counter and forgets about it, and then he picks the fang back up and puts it in his mouth, so now you put it all together again. So
when does the sign up for that start? I mean, just to throw that out there for
it's
people.
already up.
It's already up right now.
Already up right now.
Okay.
You can actually sign up all the way up until the launch party until we meet our max. So our max this year is 20 teams. Usually it's 13 teams, and the Plaza likes to say, hey, stop getting so many teams. But it's like, but it's fun. It's fun to see what everybody creates. It's so cool. And they're like, yeah, it's really great. But wait, like I'll be there as a festival director. I'm so hopeful for everybody. It's like a mom on Christmas Day, you know, you're just, or watching your kid graduate. I don't know why, but that feeling is so exciting to see that they got their film in time.
Was it the following year then, after Hangover, where you became the festival director for Buried Alive?
No, I became the festival director in 2024. So I've only been the festival director for 2 years. And I actually I wanted to only volunteer for the festival. I just wanted to help out because I wanted to be a part of a community that I thought was thriving in art and supporting other filmmakers. I just wanted to be a part of that. That's a really good feeling to be a part of something that brings happiness and joy to other people. And I was seeing what the Cinema Challenge did for me, and being accepted into Buried Alive did for me, and being a part of Buried Alive was so awesome. So
Buried Alive's awesome. We've had nothing but a great experience. Obviously since you've taken over and in the years past when it was, at the different theater and stuff, it's so cool to have it at the Plaza now, though. Just being able to screen in that theater
is
great.
Always freaking cool.
That's our home. That's us home as long as they'll keep us, so they're wonderful people as well. You want to be around people that support your community, and Plaza is definitely those people. But I took it over in 2024. I wanted to just volunteer to be a part of the community, like I said, and they just asked, what, actually, we were going to ask you if you wanted to take it over. And I was like, gosh, that's a really big ask, so I said, I had to think about it for a little bit, but I said, you know what? I think I'll do it. Let me see what I can do. And I'm going to commit to the 20th year. So it's in this year's its 19th year. And I'm going to commit until 20, and we'll see where it goes. It's about learning and growing. We're going to make mistakes along the way, and we're just trying to grow together and build it. What matters is that we take care of people's art. I look at Buried Alive more as a curator of this beautiful piece of their stories and stuff. So, and the Plaza's the museum, and we share it with the world. And I know people by their films. When the films come in, I know them by their film. And they're like, hey, we've been talking online. I was like, wait a minute, what's your film? And then it's like, oh, and then it follows up with, how did you do this? And oh my God, I loved your story. And I have to caution people because my excitement gets way up there, but I am not a selection committee member, and I'm not a judge, and I do that on purpose.
No, I think, that's a great, and just to commend you and brag on you, I feel like Buried Alive is, it's an amazing time every year. I think you do an incredible job, putting the whole event together, and you feel the community aspect of it. Through and through.
Yeah, it's a great fest. You have a great selection of films. Like every film, I got to go last year. It was the first time I got to go, and every film was top notch. And you preached community a lot.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you to build those kind of communities in Atlanta?
That actually touches on some sore spots for me, because I was a part of that community that was outed. I was the fat kid. I was the ugly girl. I was the weird girl. I was the goth kid, actually. I was the strange one. Oh, she's awesome. She has really great ideas, but, she looks weird. So I never thought that should make a person. And building a safe community for people that everyone is accepted is important to me. And it does tear me up because I come from experience of that area, and it's painful. It's extremely painful. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel the same thing I do. So it's not about being a festival director. It's not about making money, because do not get into being a festival director if you want to make money.
or filmmaking in general.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. I even have my own theory about making films. You really, these days, especially even features, you have to be in it because your heart is moving you too. And I speak from my heart a lot, maybe a little too much. I think when I'm giving out awards up there, I don't know if you noticed, I get choked up because I'm happy for these people.
Oh man, it
I'm
makes
really,
it all
really happy.
more special, I think. Yeah.
I was always like, oh man, I must look really stupid crying about somebody else winning an award. But it's, when...
No, it's great. It's about building that community. You preach that and you show it as well. And that's the one thing I really picked up going to the Plaza for these last few things that y'all have put on is you've built that community and people show up for it.
Yeah.
And they do that because of who you are and how you respond to their art and support it. I think it's fantastic.
That's really sweet that you're saying that, because sometimes I feel that when somebody preaches community and kindness and generosity, the next thing that comes up is, well, what is the real reason why you're doing this? You can't be doing this for kindness. You can't be doing this for community's sake. And that hurts me even more. So it's really nice to see that somebody is interpreting from the outside that is what we're trying to do, because like I said, you don't make money from this. What the reward is, okay. The reward is walking through the plaza and seeing people from opposite sides of the block. Like someone will go from the sci-fi block to the what the F block, and they'll be talking, and this film was really off the wall, different and weird, but I loved it, right? And then this other film was a little bit more mainstream sci-fi, and they're having these conversations in the hallway in amazement about each other's film. And like even now, I get chills talking about that, because that is a beautiful moment. And if I can create more of those, I don't know, it's just, this world sucks right now. And if we can have more of that, good vibes going out, maybe things will change. Maybe minds will change, you know? And we are one of the biggest film festivals in Georgia. But to me, that we're so small to what is going on out there right now. So if it's little changes, it's something. It's better than nothing. It's weird. It sounds strange to go at this way, instead of saying, hey, we're a professional festival and we're out to, give awards of, I even make my own awards, because that's important to me too. That was the first thing I wanted to do. Was I might have one actually here.
I've got a few.
Jason has some.
I was waiting for my moment.
I've heard people say, what makes you think you, of all people, can be a festival director? And you know what? Anybody can be a festival director, but you got to have heart. You got to want people to succeed and enjoy themselves,
I feel like you can see it right from the get-go if a festival does or doesn't. And a lot of times with festivals, it's like, yeah, not every film festival you go to, you're going to get like a distro deal or an award or something that maybe leads to something else. But like, to me, that's not necessarily the important thing. And we talk about that a lot. It's like what are we getting out of this festival? And it's like a lot of times, especially with like Buried Alive and some of our other favorites, it's like, well, we've now established, a community here, people we reconnect with over the years. And it's like like we've met colleagues that have worked on our films at film festivals. Like, and it's like exactly what you said too. Like, I love going out in the lobby and being like, hey, when that guy got his head cut off, how did you do that?
And that was another thing that I wanted to do with this festival when we speak about community and stuff, is that not only did I want to give back, because movies and music, those two things have really saved my life. And I think a lot of people can say that. I mean, how many times have you just had someone pass away, or you just went through this horrible, horrible experience that changed you? Like, and then you walk into a movie theater, and for 90 minutes, your life is nothing but that movie, right? And you can pull yourself away from whatever is going on, and you were a part of that film. And that immersion is so powerful. And that is, I mean, seriously, has saved my life more than I can count. So my thought is, keep making your art, because you don't know whose life you're going to save. You may think that your silly little film about a mermaid is not going to help anybody in this world, but you would be surprised. Again, that's the reason why I'm not a judge or anything, because I fall in love with these filmmakers through their art. You guys are incredibly talented. Like, I often want to go, how did you do that? Like, I wanted to have like your casting choices were phenomenal.
No, we've definitely gotten very fortunate with the friend group we have and the team we've kind of built with, like, especially with like people like our sort of Heebie's darlings, Brett Brooks and Aaron Ownby, who are in just about everything we make. That's
the reason why I'm not a judge, because I look at things and I admire them in a way that is like, gosh, I'm a fan. and yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
I guess in terms of like, with Buried Alive and like you being a filmmaker, how do you feel like the two of those have sort of intersected then? Like obviously you touched on like community and be able to meet people. Do you feel like sort of running a festival has helped you develop as a filmmaker or?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready for my next film. I'm so ready. I'm itching. I want to do this. You learn through the process of meeting people, like that whole in the hallway community learning and networking. You kind of, hey, that was a really unique idea. And that inspired how I'm going to do this trick I want to do. I really want to get back to where films were. When we fell in love with Gremlins or Poltergeist for that matter. Also, it has taught me a lot about pacing. That is something I have struggled through, seeing these other films and how they do their pacing. One was done with music. And I asked them, the pacing is so good on this particular film, for example. How did you keep that rhythm going? Because I can see in films, especially in short films, you have to come up and then you stay down. But if you stay down too long, the film becomes boring and stagnant. You got to have a reason for it to be that way. You know what I mean?
It's interesting because you talked about, the experience you had like younger where, especially if you're into horror or like metal music, people think you're this type of person when in reality it might be like I feel like punk and metal people sometimes are like the nicest horror filmmakers. Like you'll see them like eviscerate people on screen and be like, what the hell is wrong with them? And then you meet them and you're like, they're just this beautiful ball of sunshine that you like can't get enough of. And I always think that's amazing.
You describe yourself as a beautiful ball of sunshine.
Yeah, it's on my business card.
That's cute.
It's funny you're saying that. I had did a music video that was kind of like a psychological thriller, and it got accepted into several, and Buried Alive was one of them too, as a matter of fact. And we went to a networking event and had like 200 people in this event. I'm going to try to keep the name quiet. They asked the directors to come down, and I let it slip that I'm dyslexic, right? So I try not to weigh on that, but I am. I said, so I struggle a little bit around writing horror because I'm slower at that, but I can still do it and I enjoy it. And then the comment came out of, that's a good point. What makes you think you could do a really good violent horror movie, being the fact that you have a disability and you're a girl? And I said, whoa.
Which is the appropriate response. Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Actually, I said, hold my beer. I was like, I'm going to thank you because I think you just set a fire right up under my ass, because I'm going to prove to you that a woman, anybody, my son, who's in filmmaking now and 17, can make whatever they want to and be as good as, whatever you think. And now I'm going to make the most violent, the most gross, the most scary, misogynistic film you've ever seen in your fucking life. And then when they ask the directors to come down on stage, I'm going to wear a pink dress just for this moment.
And I hope they'll be in the audience so you can look at them and just go, you did this.
Yeah.
You're like, thank you, actually. That was good motivation.
Thank you. Actually, what I did say to him was, how dare you tell this whole entire room that they can't make a movie because they don't have a penis or not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's God, that's horrible. I mean, there are so many great horror films out there by women. I mean, American Psycho is probably one of the most misogynist, gross films that you can possibly have directed by a woman. Like, I don't understand where that comes from.
Actually, I will be honest and say that I left that room, and people were like, thank God she said that. Some of them were clapping, but I had to leave. I had to walk out.
Fair.
And I went into my car and I cried because I am that sensitive person. But that doesn't mean I wasn't going to do it. Now we're talking, this is probably 15 years later.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or maybe 10. It's around that time frame. And I have not forgotten that. And I wrote it. And that is what we're working on right now, is we're going to make the grossest, the most violent, the most masculine, I guess, film. And it's going to be coming from me.
Can you tell us a bit about that film? Because I know because you guys are currently raising funds for it, correct?
Yes. We're going to be working with Shane Morton, who does the spook shows. Also has worked on Halloween, My Pretty Face Goes to Hell, or Your Pretty Face Goes to Hell. Fabulous. We're trying to work with completely practical effects, but it's going to be really feel if you're going to make art, you need to make art that is inside you. So my signature style of making art is now a 1980s gothic horror film.
I mean, sold.
Yeah, right. So this is what I grew up in. This is where it came from. I was always at the masquerade during goth night. You know, I made my own group of friends, and that's what I wanted to bring back, was tell the stories that I remember, and kind of put it into something that's very scary and very violent. It's about 6 friends who get chased into a psychic shop from a storm. And it's Evil Dead meets Drag Me to Hell meets a little bit of Beetlejuice.
If I wasn't sold then, I'm very sold now.
And what's it called?
Ring Out the Dead.
And you are currently fundraising for it, right?
Yes, we're starting our campaign June 13th. And we wanted to build a campaign video that was equal to what the film was about. If you think Evil Dead, that's why we wanted to raise it during Evil Dead 2, because it was a semblance of the both. And then, of course, To Hell With You was that perfect comedy hell. And I really wanted to support filmmakers, and I wanted you guys to be the filmmaker of the year from Atlanta Horror Society. So
that was incredible. Yeah, I think I told you I've never said yes to an email fast enough. Like, hey, do you want to open for Evil Dead 2? Basically, I'm like, yeah.
Awesome. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing your art with us, because it was.
Thank you. No, we had
it was so awesome.
Night.
You know, there was a lot of feedback too online of people saying how much they really enjoyed the short that played in front of it. And that is slowly what Atlanta Horror Society is becoming, is this supporting indie horror.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Atlanta Horror Society is and how people can get involved?
So the Atlanta Horror Society is about filmmakers getting together and networking with horror enthusiasts. It's a safe space for all of them to talk about their films, for horror filmmakers to kind of see what is out there that their audience likes, you know, and to talk about horror films that are favorites, and talk about directors that we love and appreciate. And we also do trivia just for the fun of it. And if you want to we get together the last Thursday of every month at Boggs Social. And that's going to be our home for a few more months until we find another home, or we may just stay there. It's a nice place, Boggs Social in Atlanta. And if you want to be a member, it's completely free. You just go to the AtlantaHorrorSociety.com and you sign up, and we will send you a newsletter once a month to let you know what events are coming up. A lot of times, Monsterama is one. A lot of horror conventions will want Atlanta Horror Society to be a part of that. So they'll give us discounts that I'll send through the newsletter about like free movies, free horror movies, just a lot of cool different things. So
has there been moments where like the filmmakers and the horror fans have gotten together and then eventually worked on the project together and started collaborating, or a horror fan has met filmmakers and has inspired them to go make some stuff?
Yeah, actually twice that's happened so far. One of them is a cinema challenge. They found members who are not actors, they're not cast and crew, but they want to get involved in horror filmmaking. They wanted to do a cinema challenge, and usually that's the best time to build your team, because a lot of people will volunteer for a cinema challenge. And you can get some practice in or so forth. So there was a bunch of members who wanted to be a part of a horror film, and a filmmaker just casted them in his film. And
That's
they
fun.
said it was the coolest experience they ever had. The cinema challenges, because I do tell people about cinema challenge when I'm there, of course, and tell teams to please join up and stuff. But I encourage horror enthusiasts to get involved with these local horror filmmakers so that they, can work together and have fun. I wanted to add about Atlanta Horror Society is the idea to support filmmakers wasn't even mine either. Some members came to me and said, you know what, we would love to start seeing some local horror filmmakers' films. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea because we need to, there's tons of communities out there that's supporting filmmakers, period, as a whole. But nobody celebrates horror. And it is, to me, horror's always been that redheaded stepchild, and what a better time than for us to celebrate and help support. So my goal is to one day start raising money for these filmmakers to help make their films. And I'm guinea pigging Ring Out the Dead to see, because if it fails or if it doesn't work, then I'd rather do it on me first than, and just see how that works. So, but hopefully we can start helping other local horror filmmakers raise money for their films and keep making movies. So
that's amazing.
That's our goal.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much about Atlanta Horror Society. We're just trying to help support other local horror filmmakers and then have a really damn good time.
No, we really do appreciate the hell out of you. I feel like there's just, the fact that it'd be cool if there was just one of the things, the fact that it's like Horror Society, the film festival, like, these special screenings and things here and there, like it's a lot to love as a horror person, especially when you get to having people to talk to that just like, because we just like horror movies too, like I want to just talk to people about it. Like it's not always, filmmaking, but then having that other avenue where we can then go, collaborate with people and stuff just makes it all that much better.
That's kind of what we do with the feature films when they come out, was we have those conversations that you have. I just saw The Back Rooms, and did you love it or did you not love it? What did you like about it? And that's kind of what we do there. And it just launches these conversations throughout the room around the bar, and it's just fun. It's a lot of fun. You are watching a movie in a bar with commentary, by the way. So,
so if you haven't seen it, but sometimes that's the best way to. It's like we were saying with the Buried Alive, or I'm sorry, the Evil Dead 2 and the Telltale. That was one of my favorite times watching that movie because you just like, there wasn't a commentary, but you have that crowd experience. Just getting to like feel that energy.
Yeah.
As opposed to just me watching it on my computer screen for the.
It was the first time most of our cast and crew had not seen it.
Mm-hmm. So that's always special.
Which is weird because it's our biggest reference in most of our films is that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
We should have had a screening a long time ago.
That's now recommended or mandatory viewing for any Heebie-Jeebies production. We love ending on a sentimental note for the viewers to go out.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, just based on what you talked about earlier, just how you grew up, like kind of know what you wanted to do, but sort of feeling like that, a little bit of an outcast with like horror, but then kind of, fast forward, you found your tribe, you've got all these beautiful things worked out. I'd love to know if you could kind of go back and tell your younger self one thing or a piece of advice, what would that be?
Isn't that the question I asked you?
Maybe I stole it from you. I don't know.
No.
I'm like, this one's gonna be a banger.
I just thought that was funny. If you could go, so funny. Wow, that is such a very, very hard question. If it's, you know what? Honestly, I think I know what I would say to my younger self was, and this is going to sound so selfish in a way, but it's going to be okay. I'd reassure it's going to be okay. Just keep diving into what you love and what makes you happy. And as long as it makes you happy and you sane and it inspires you to create more, then it's the right thing to do. So we're all so afraid of how the world treats us, and we make mistakes all the time because we're so afraid of what people are going to say and what they're going to do and what they're going to think, because we've lived that tragic life that, and it's put this PTSD on us. So if I had had somebody come back and tell me, hey, it's going to be okay, you do what you want to do and you strive the best way you can, then I think my life would have been a little different. But
tell the fine people of the internet. It's been a pleasure, but I'd love to know where they can follow you, whether it's Instagram, like all that stuff, like, just any social media things you want to get out, just so people can keep track of you and your projects.
Well, Buried Alive is Buried Alive Horror Film Fest. buriedalivefilmfest.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and also you can submit your films into Film Freeway. And the Cinema Challenge is also spelled with an S, but Cinema Challenge. And you can find them also on Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. And website's going to be coming up soon, but you can go ahead and sign up for the Cinema Challenge now. Get in early because those spaces will start to fill up in June and July. So, and then the Atlanta Horror Society is probably our biggest, most active group, which you can find atlantahorrorsociety.com. You can follow us through all the social media. And if you're looking for my film company, we were once called Rock with Siren. We are now Something Wicked Films because that is what made me. That horror film is what made me. So
what a callback.
Yeah, it was so fitting. And when I looked it up and I made sure that it wasn't registered or anything like that, got my business license and I said, let's go. I love it. It was meant to be. But that's it. That's how you can find me. And at the plaza. Most times I'm at the plaza hanging out.